The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Here we are on, I think, what could become my favorite show, and it's called Turning Point. And this is where I talk a little wrestling. And in the past, I've had some really cool guests to start out, in my opinion. My show, my opinion. I've had AJ Kirsch, who I love to catch up with, and him and I speak on a regular basis. Marty the Moth, Martin Casau, two of my boys from what many consider to be the best season of Tough Enough. I had a chance to catch up with Tessa Blanchard, third generation young lady. And then I also spoke to Mandy Leone, who's out there knocking down the doors and doing some good stuff for the women. Two young ladies who I think are really spectacular and just out there banging it down and waiting for the opportunity to do more. But I think you'll see a lot of them between Ring of Honor and Lucha Underground and all that stuff. And there's just a lot of good wrestling going on. But I thought I'd sit down this week just by myself. I have no guest. I have just me and my opinions. And sometimes I, more often than not, I keep my opinions to myself. But with the termination of a few of the NXT kids, I say kids, a few of the NXT guys, I just thought it'd be a good time to offer another side to the coin. And one of the hot topics that was out there was the release of one Bull Dempsey. Now, I know this kid back many years on the independents, and I was there for his tryout, and I was there throughout his stay in NXT, minus the past year. And I know what James Smith is capable of doing, what Bull is capable of doing. I know what he's done. And he had a long run. He had a long run in the developmental system. And I think that's the topic that a lot of people are talking about now. Is it still a developmental system? I think guys and girls, depending on who's paying attention, and I think you can only talk about it if you were there. Otherwise, it's just everybody, voicing their opinion. I have a different opinion because I was there. And Bull Dempsey is a talented big man who struggled. I think it's fair to say, and I'm going to have Bull on this. I'm going to have Bull on the show. James will be on the show. And I look forward to it. Let me get a drink here. Hold on a second. So I'm going to have James on this show, and we're going to do some stuff and basically just talk and catch up. But I want him to promote himself and where he can be going. And for everybody out there who's listening to this podcast on SoundCloud or watching this video, let me say first and foremost, big fan. I don't care what you read. I don't care what you heard from someone who's in the know who heard from someone who heard from someone. Big fan of Bull Dempsey. Spent many hours in conversation in the ring working with him, as did all the coaches, as did James. James put in the work. He had an uphill battle early on years ago because, as you know, it used to be the stigmatism of everybody had to look the same. And Bull was one of those guys who helped break that stereotype. He's a big guy, big burly kid, much like myself, who then opened the door for other people to come in, much like Kevin Owens. Two or 3 years later, Kevin came into the system. But he helped to break that stereotype, in my opinion, because you need big guys. You need these jacked up guys. You need guys that look great. And there's a ton of them. And Bull stood out. The issue for me is that he stood out, but he didn't stand out. And this is what I'd love to talk to James about, because we've had this conversation. And James got to sit in a room with Dusty Rhodes and myself and Regal on separate occasions, and all his coaches who helped put a lot of time in, as did James. So to read that James, and I reached out to him, and him and I stay in contact because he's just a good kid, and I'm fond of him. And contrary to popular opinion, my relationships go further with most than just a training camp or just working together, and then at 5 o'clock everybody punches out and we all go our own way. There's actually some relationships that have been built through that system. I feel like James is one of those guys who falls victim to it's not being a developmental system anymore. NXT, James played a big part in the growing of NXT. He built a fan base. It's clear, joining the NXT brand and then taking all of that on the road, as it started out in just Florida, house shows, live events, whatever they're called, and then branching off into where the NXT brand is going now. And I'm just searching for the right, because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but there's really nothing wrong to say. James has done his job, and he should be a hot commodity out there. So when I have him on, hopefully the next week or so, I have him on. I want him to pump it up, because everybody should want to book this kid, because I remember him as Baby Huey when he was wearing the diaper years ago, trucking it out up in the metropolitan area, New York, New Jersey, and all that stuff. And just a guy who works hard. And that's James. He works hard, and he'll do what's asked of him. And I think that's the fall of some of the guys and girls who have been let go and could be let go in the future. Two of the other guys that left the same time as James, there was 5 total, but 2 of the other guys that I think highly of, one is Sylvester Lafort, and we'll get back to him in a minute. The other one is Marcus Louis. So if you look these guys up, struggled. They struggled with Miguel. He struggled with, why am I here so long? What am I doing? What am I not doing? And I think the same for Sly. And the beautiful part about a developmental system is grooming talent to do more. The hard part is once developmental becomes a brand and it's not developmental anymore, you would expect the ones that have been in the system 2-3+ years to be further along, or you start, thinning the herd. I don't think that will ever change. I think you're always going to thin the herd, no matter how popular you get or what you're doing. You should have to know creatively. You should have to know if you have something for these cats or not. My message to everyone going forward is, don't wait for someone to come up with something for you, and it can be exhausting. You can have the argument, I've been here for 3 years, I've come up with many ideas, they don't like them, so I'm just going to wait for them, and you fall into a rut. That's the developmental system. Take it or leave it. I don't care what size building, I don't care how many rings, I don't care who the coaches are, what they think they're doing, I don't care how you're going to try to reinvent the wheel. In a developmental system, you have to keep evolving. So maybe it's an evolving system. I don't know if it's developmental anymore. I'm of the opinion, as NXT continues to grow, and now they're doing international tours and they're touring the US all over the place, they're going to have a place to train future talent. And then they have their NXT brand where they go and travel and do all these things. That opens up a whole different can of worms, and I'll wait for a guest to talk about all that stuff. But the issue with those 3 guys in particular, Magno got let go. Magno came to a tryout camp I was involved in, but I never got to train him, so I don't know what that was. And I just think, after a certain amount of time, if coaches and the people who brought them in, the talent scouts, and there's nothing really there for them, then I think it's time to cut ties and let them go do what they love. I'm a big fan of, and I talked about to Sami Callihan about this. I talked to CJ Parker, the Juice, about this, and you have to do what you love. If you're there for a certain amount of time and you're frustrated and why is everybody else going before me and why am I not getting the opportunities I deserve, then you have to make a conscious decision as an adult who signed a contract. Either this place is for you or it's not. So I think the developmental system part of it will change, but the evolving system won't change. So you saw the release of 3 very well-liked guys in the Performance Center. Whether their characters evolved or whether they got enough TV time to be able to show their thing, that's for sure not for me to say. I have an opinion on it, but for sure not for me to say. The fact that the thought was, okay, what do we do? Okay, let's let them go do their thing. That's the way I would look at it is, okay, now I get to choose to go do my passion. If my passion is wrestling, let me go do that. And I saw from 2 out of the 3 guys that I'm aware of, this is where you know they're class acts and they've learned something over the years. Bull Dempsey could have went on social media and went, "You motherfucker, son of a bitch, piece of crap, don't know what you're doing," but he didn't. He thanked his coaches. He thanked the Performance Center. He thanked Hunter. He thanked everybody for the opportunity, and that's a class act.
The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Hey everybody, this is Bill DeMott, and I got to tell you, I'm so excited about everything that's gone on with the brand and with Vince Russo and being on the brand and being part of that crew. I want to thank Vince, and we're so happy to announce that now the BDE is its own channel on the Realm Network. And you can get all the past podcasts, and you can go on my YouTube account and you can see the Bill DeMott experience and all of the past things that we've done. And we're looking forward to the future on the Realm Network. Again, Vince Russo on the brand has started something that he can't control himself. And the BDE is now its own channel. And you're going to get shows like Turning Point, where I'm going to be talking about wrestling, the thing that everybody's been waiting for the past 6 months on the Realm Network with Bill DeMott. I'm going to talk wrestling. You're going to get Face Value with my daughter, Casey, and we're going to talk about life, and you take it at face value. We're going to be serious. There's going to be the Turning Point. There's football with Miss Paula, and there's Paula's Twitter account, and you have to hook her up. You have to tweet her because we're going to talk about stuff. We're going to finish out the year strong with football with Miss Paula, and it all happens on the Realm Network. And right now, you can get your subscription, $3.95 a month, but if you put in the promo code BDE16 right now, $2.95 a month, for the BDE on the Realm Network. Promo code BDE16 is the coupon. Put it in there. $2.95 a month. You get Turning Point. You get Face Value. You get the interviews with unbelievable people. David Brady's coming up, and you can subscribe to this channel. And then you can go and watch the Bill DeMott Experience on YouTube. And you can subscribe to the Bill DeMott Experience on YouTube. All for you. Bill DeMott, all month long. We have football. We have Turning Point. We have Face Value. We have interviews. I'm going to catch up with Vince every now and again. Vince and I may break off and start another show. But it all started with the brand and Vince Russo. And it's grown to the BDE on the Realm Network. And we're excited. We cannot tell you how excited we are. And if you look on the bottom of the screen, click on that site. It takes you right to the subscription page. We're going to have fun. We're going to be serious. We're going to laugh. More importantly, we go back to having fun. But the Realm Network's about to blow up in 2016. And right next to the brand now, you have the BDE. It all started somewhere. It started with Vince. Now it comes to Bill. We're going to have fun. Turning Point's going to be great. We're going to talk wrestling. We're going to have wrestlers, men, women, old guys, young guys, sometimes just me giving you an opinion. Face Value is the most entertaining thing I've ever seen. You don't want to miss one episode. We went on location. It's coming up. It's must-see TV. And for everybody on iTunes, I'm going to give you something to listen to in the traffic. I'm going to give you something on the ride. I'm going to give you something. And it happens here on the Realm Network. So don't miss out. I cannot express enough. It's $3.95 a month for the BDE. But if you put in the promo code right now, BDE16, that's BDE16, $2.95 a month. We're going to be throwing specials at you. We're going to be throwing shows at you, and we're going to entertain you. More importantly, subscribe to the Bill DeMott Experience. We're going to show you exactly what entertainment is, and we're going to make you laugh. We're going to piss some people off along the way, and hopefully we're just going to have some fun. So to Vince Russo and everybody on the brand, thank you. To everybody on BDE, thank you. To the Realm Network, thank you. 2016, big things for the Realm Network and the Bill DeMott Experience. Subscribe now.